Hi, Gene here with today's thought. But before I get to today's thought, I just want to, it's a thank you. I got some surprising news today. If you have a vlog such as the one I have, YouTube sends monthly reports. I get them an email every month, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out, first of all, that in just the past month, almost 18,000 minutes of viewing, which really shocked me because, I didn't know people were watching that much, to be honest, but also 60 new subscribers. And I just want to say to all of you, I guess it's good news and bad news. The bad news, the good news is that I got 60 subscribers. The bad news is that I can't just, stand here and thank all of you individually. So just all of you, thank you very much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Now on to today's thought. So if you saw yesterday's yesterday's vlog, I talked about, I said that actions speak louder than words, that the Democrats, they are saying, they want Trump. You have someone saying, we want Trump to be on the ballot, to be the Republican nominee because he'll be so easy to beat. Biden can beat him hands down, no problem. But then you see on the other hand that you have, in fact, I read another story today that there are six and some including some never Trump Republicans too in Colorado suing, this crazy idea using the 14th Amendment to disqualify Trump from being on the ballot. So if I get a request, a lot of requests, I'll cover that in detail, but that's not germane to today. The point is that the Democrats, they are trying to they don't even want all of us to have the opportunity to vote for or to vote against Trump. If he's that bad, then we can all vote against him, and the Democrats can make their argument, but they're trying to keep him completely off the ballot. So obviously, they are very afraid. They are afraid that Trump they see the possibility that he could win. And you're starting to see the polls now, by the way. Real Clear Politics does an average of polls and presidential polls, and now you're seeing that Trump leads in some of them. Some of them, it's going back and forth, basically. There was one that had, I think, Biden 3 points ahead, but it's basically 1 or 2 points either way, and it keeps changing. So they have something to worry about, but they're probably not even to themselves being honest about why they are afraid of a Trump victory or just a Republican victory, but especially Trump. And I want to explain what they're really afraid of. That's today's thought. So I have to give you a little history because as you can tell, I've been around a while, and there was a time there was a time that the idea of a Democratic president was just about unthinkable. After Carter, it was, you had these, I think Mondale was the last person you would call a moderate Democrat. But you had Gene McCarthy, you had George McGovern, you had Mike Dukakis, and they all lost. They couldn't win because the party was so far to the left, very far to the left of the whole country. They couldn't get elected. Then along comes Bill Clinton and Joe Lieberman, and before Clinton ran for president, they formed something called I forget the name, the Democratic something or other. I'll look it up. I'll put a caption there. But the idea was that they are a different kind, a new Democrat, a new kind of Democrat that is centrist and not like the ones that couldn't get elected. So Clinton actually ran on that, and he won. And to be honest, he was very liberal. That was a problem. See, he campaigned as a moderate, and then he went way to the left when he got elected. And the result was that the Republicans captured the House and the Senate, but for the first time in about for the House, the first time in 40 years, and 49 years, I think, and the Senate for the first time since Reagan's first term. So that, which would be the early 80s. So the point being that that Clinton was able to do this, but Clinton when that happened to Clinton, and the Republicans won the House and the Senate, he moved to the center, and he actually became a not too bad president. We had he worked with the Republicans to balance the budget, cut spending, he cut the capital gains tax, yada yada yada, and that's what he did. Enabled Democrats to start being elected. So along comes now Joe Biden, and Joe Biden comes, same thing, campaigned as a moderate, but as soon as he got into office, we all know what happened. He went way, way, way to the left, far more left-wing than any president we've ever had, and well, incompetent too, but that's another story for another day. The point is that he was he moved very far to the left, and we all know what happened. I think now we have $2 trillion deficits as far as the eye can see, if nothing changes. When Trump left office and Biden came in, we were coming out of COVID. We had 6% GDP growth. Okay, 6% GDP growth. We had 1.6% inflation, below the Fed's target of 2%, and gas was averaging about $2.40 something a gallon around the country. Where I live in Tennessee, it was down to $1.86. It's double, at least it's double. It changes every day, but it's double, if not more than double than that now. And we see what he threw the border open, and we are being flooded with immigrants, and every day they come up with something that we can't have. Air conditioners, they put these new standards on cars, and they're trying to get rid of internal combustion engines, and they're trying to don't get me started on electric cars. That's another thought for another day. But they're just not practical, and they're very expensive. Well, I'll give you one, a simple fender bender. Somebody had a fender bender, and the bill was something like $40,000, because what happened is the whole floor, the whole bottom of the car is the battery. So you get a little fender bender, it damages the battery, and that battery which is the bulk of the price of the car, cannot be fixed. It has to be completely replaced, and we've seen the stories of them catching fire, so on and so forth. And Biden wants to force us into all these cars. So this is what now I'm getting to the thought. You thought I wasn't going to, but I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it right now. This is what they're worried about, because if Trump wins, that's what he can run on. He can say that, well, I told you what the numbers were when he came to president. He said, this is what they are now, and asked the question that Reagan asked in his first election against Carter: are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And the answer for most of us is, of course, we're not. But what happens if Trump gets in, or any Republican, I would expect, but definitely Trump, is he'll restore the old policies, and drill baby drill. We'll have plenty of energy. Gas prices will go down, and the point is that everything will go back to the way things were when he left office. And then the problem becomes in 2028, when a Republican, when we have the next presidential election, all a Republican has to say is, if you elect a Democrat, then he will go back to the Biden policies. He will throw the border open again. If there's a wall, if Trump manages to finish the wall, they'll open the wall, and they'll do what Biden did in one spot. They'll weld the doors open. If they don't tear down the whole wall completely, they'll just flood the country with immigrants. They'll put all these standards back on that Trump will have removed, I predict, on air conditioners and car mileage. The car mileage mileage is just to make the mileage standard so high that the car companies can't meet them with internal combustion engines, so they'll have to stop making those and make electric cars and lose money on the electric cars. But he'll say all these policies, if you put them back in power, they will undo everything that Trump will have done, and they'll go back to all the policies that were in place in the Biden administration. And you will have the Democratic president candidate will either double down on what Biden did and say those were the right things to do, or I would predict say, no, we learned our lesson. We're here is again, same as Clinton. We are a new kind of Democrat. I'm a new kind of Democrat, moderate, and I will work. Their favorite phrase, I will work with the other side. I will cross the aisle and work with the other side. And all the Republican will have to say, well, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Because they'll say, well, you already went through that. Clinton claimed to be a new kind of president, and he went way to the left, and the only reason he came to the center was because Republicans won control of the House and the Senate. We're able to put a brake on him. And now that's the problem that they have, getting people to believe them a second time when they say, and a Republican candidate just say, well, look, the left controls the Democratic Party. You can see just now, Biden was never, because even in the Senate, he was liberal to the left, but nothing like we're seeing now. And it's obvious he's an empty vessel. The left controls the party, and if he wants the support of Democrats, he has to move far to the left. So that's what a Republican could also say. Don't believe them, even if he sincerely means it, the Democratic candidate. The left wing of the party, which is the base of the party, the squad, the Alexandria or Ocasio-Cortezes will pull him, and the Bernie Sanders in the Senate will pull whoever that candidate is, way to the left. So that's it. Do you want to get fooled a second time? And I predict that the American people will not want to be fooled a second time. And it's going to be very tough for a Democrat. I don't think a Democrat can ever win, and sacrificing the whole country to climate change. That's what this is all about. And saying climate change is a looming catastrophe, and we have to put all these. Every day they come up with something. That's what, if I was a Republican candidate, that's what I would say to the Democratic candidate in debate. Okay, the Biden, please give me a list of all the things that you're going to take away from us if you win. And based on what Biden did, that Democratic candidate is going to have a tough time explaining all of that. And I predict that it will be very, very hard for, I don't think any Democratic candidate can ever win on being honest and open about the Biden, about what they would really do, which would be to reinstate all the Biden policies and double down and come up with new things and all this transgenderism and just. I predict that they can't get elected on those policies, and their only way to get elected is to fool us again. And it's going to be much harder for the simple reason that people will be able to compare. If Biden wins or the Democrat, whoever it is, wins in 2024, that president will just double down on what's already going on, and you'll have to wait till 2028 for a Republican to, come into office and 4 years later govern and allow the comparison. But if Trump wins in 2024, then by 2028, people will be able to compare. That's what's unique about this election. I guess I'm going on. I'm going to try to wind it up, but that's what's really unique about this election, because you have this interregnum. I hope it'll turn out to be where you had Biden, one president, one term, and then you have the second. You had Trump for one term, Biden for one term, and then you have two back-to-back single terms, and you can compare. And then in the 2024, you'll be able to compare what Trump did, not some Republican candidate running for the first time, but one who already was president, and you can compare those policies. And for all those reasons, the Democrats are really scared, and they will probably never come out and say this, but I just told you that is what they are really afraid of losing power for a long, long time if Trump wins. It's not just one election, it's losing power for a long, long time. And again, thanks that's my thought for today. Thanks again all of you who have subscribed and for watching. If more of you would like to subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. Would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.